Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Yeah, we got knocked off due to a phone call, which doesn't matter if I have it on Do Not Disturb or not. It just gets knocked off. So we're doing a part two here, Genesis 6 and 16. Jumping right back in it. Verse 6, no, it's like Genesis 16 and verse 9. It says, "And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress, and to submit thyself under her hands." So, in other words, you're a servant. You're a servant, and what I say goes. This is for prophecy's sake, right? So get your ass back over there and do what your master tells you. You know, and stop stressing that woman out. You know, what I'm saying? Stop mocking her. You know, stop giving her probably filthy looks, and women can be vindictive and selfish, and you know especially if she a heathen, especially so. You know. Verse 9 says, "An angel of the Lord said unto her, Return thy message and submit thyself to her under her hand." We're finishing off the chapter here. It says, "And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude," which is actually going to say right now. "And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction." Let's see what that word. And he's a wild man too. That's what it. God will hear. Son of Abraham. So continue on. It says, oh yeah, this is what I'm looking for. "And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren." And you see that Ishmael, when you look at him in today's time, because that's an omen omen, man. You know, uh, well, more so him being a wild man. Not his affliction being heard, but more so him being a wild man. You see the type of stuff that they, because they're the Arabs. So you have them going to war, and you see all the different things that that they do. You said what? And you see all the things that they do. Um, when they fight in these different wars, and you see a lot of their videos on X, on Twitter, and on the dark web and whatnot. Not saying to go to the dark web. I'm not saying that, but you might come across some of that stuff might get leaked into social media, on Facebook, on X. Um, and you'll see these different ways that how they handle other people. By chopping off their heads, because they're the so-called Arabs in today's time. So you'll see them chopping off people's heads and shooting people with a few hundred bullets, man, from AKs. And I saw this one video where Ishmael was you know there was executed these guys, and I don't know if they were like just traitors in their country, whatever, but they executed them, and they had horses and trucks and bikes, and they were it started off shooting each one in the head, execution style, and then they shot their bodies so many times, and then they drove away from the bodies while shooting them. It was like, it's just the strangest thing to see. But they're a wild man, and like I said, you see some of their shootouts, and you see how they do in shootouts, how they handle battle. You could just tell, man. That's what the Lord was talking about. Strange people, man, heathen and wild. just bugged out, buck wild, you know. A lot of them, don't show mercy. Just a wild man, man. It says, and she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me. Let me see. For she said, Have I also here, and she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore the well was called Belaheroi. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered, and Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 60 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. So let me see what that means here. It's like we tired too, trying to push it through. Well of the living one seeing me. Wow, look at that. Well of the living one seeing me. Bear Laharo. Bill. No, it's like Bear Laharoy. Laharoy. Bear Laharoy. Well of the living one seeing me. So yeah, because a lot of times, things will be named, it's an omen, things will be named exactly what it pertains to. Verse 13, and I want to read that because we went through we got the definition of the word, right? So it says, and she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me, for she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore the well was called Beer Laharoy, or Beer Laharoy. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. Let's see if I pronounced that right.
Strong's H 883. Be'er lachai ro'i.
Be'er
Be'er lachai ro'i.
Laharoy. But yeah, man. Little when he was edified. This is the finish up from the first half, man. The key points were already made in the first half of the video. Like I said, let me just do the rest of it because we got cut off a little early than what I wanted, what I expected it. So the key points were what, because we prove all things here, man. Scriptures tell us to prove all things, and a lot of things, it's not the greatest topic in the scriptures, but it is one of the topics, man. All right, a man's allowed to have multiple women. Women are to be in order, and a man is allowed to take of women of other nations, man. It wasn't a deep breakdown. It was just kind of like a reading, and just some light edification, man. The word edify means to bring out what is within, right? So yeah, man. Hey, Lil Wayne was edified. I want to end it off by giving praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakadash. Double honor to our apostles, the elders, the great millstone, never well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. And